Good evening. Candidate for Trumpeter Patriots once again, and I'd just like to record this video a little bit better. Hope the quality comes out better, but maybe people didn't hear that last speech as good as what I thought, and the reverse files and so forth. I'll have to try and do a picture of that and screenshot it or do something, but anyway, these documents, yes, we know they're turned around, but we're working on that at the moment. But there's always going to be glitches, isn't there? Glitches in anything. Okay, so I'll read this to you. Wishing a warm welcome to my fellow Australians. My name is Todd Charles Dushaw. It is with great anticipation and with great pleasure to announce that I am running with Trumpeter the Patriots for New England. From 1981 to 1988, I served in the Royal Australian Navy as a marine engineer. I've listened to the plights of young and old Australians on many levels over the years. Australians want the same things: stability, harmony, peace, well-being and prosperity. All this can all be achieved by implementing transparency and accountancy, by reducing corruption, and ensure that all resources are used to their full potential. Investing in quality education. This will empower individuals and enable them to achieve their full potential. Community-based initiatives and economic development programs. Developing more infrastructure, including roads, transportation, fast trains and communication networks. This will support economic growth and improve living standards. Investing in the power grid, building new nuclear power stations. This makes sense, and I'll tell you why. Olympic Dam mine in South Australia is the largest known uranium deposit in the world and a major source of Australia's yellowcake production. Australia is a major exporter of yellowcake, and this is where we're going to use this asset to the fullest. Makes me skin crawl sometimes, I tell you. Okay, so this yellowcake is processed further overseas, which if we do processing plants here, we can keep everything internal, keep it in Australia, and we'll have all that profit will stay in Australia. The profit will stay in Australia. And I mean, people complain about Trump and the tariffs and so forth, but in the 1980s, back in the 80s, we had an export and an import tax. And Paul Keaton took these taxes off, and over the gradually of a few years, it's hurt us because that kept the industry here in Australia. All the cars and everything that was manufactured here in Australia, you take off the import and export tax, well, you can import cheaper. So those Mercedes and all those car makers from European countries, they were only for rich people back in the 70s and so forth. But once you take off that export tax, and this is why Australians did only drive the Fords and the Hollands, because they were local made cars and vehicles which Australians could afford. But once you took off the import tax and tariffs, we could import cheaper from overseas, but this hurt our industry, and this is why manufacturing and all your facilities, canneries, refineries and everything went off overseas. And that's to do a lot with the Lima Agreement, which Gough Whitlam signed. We can go a lot more into detail about that, but let's try and get me over the line first, so I can create a difference and use my vast wisdom and knowledge, so we can kick these bastards in the arse, all these bad people in the arse, and get the greater good happening for Australia again. Bring back all these taxes that we had, so we can tax these importers and have the import tax up to what our manufacturers and that had here in Australia, because then it keeps Australia as an island, self-sufficient. And we want to be self-sufficient. It's not just for us. This is all for future generations. And as I said, I'm a visionary for the future for Australians, all Australians, everyone that lives in this continent. And it is a beautiful continent, and it is still a lucky country. But we want to keep it this way. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot of as I said, there's so much corruption out there. It's not funny. People have been chasing money for years now, and it's just a virus, and it's a money virus. People just don't know how to spend the money, or just keep accumulating the money. And I tell you what, all this money in the world's not going to, and all the wealth isn't going to get you into heaven. I'll tell you right now. This is by people on their deathbed, and when you get older, you want to redeem yourself. But mate, you've got to do it while you're young and all through your life, because it's just not going to get you into heaven. It's just not going to wash, eh? But anyway, getting off the subject, because there's a lot that goes through my brain, eh? So, but anyway, I just like to get a lot of things off my chest. Where do we start, eh? We got to start from somewhere, and we got to start with this corruption, and we got to get the judiciary right again, and so there is justice and there is law. Not all these shenanigans that's happening within governments. And Labor and Liberals had decades and decades to get their shit together, and they just haven't done it. All they've done is got more corrupted and robbing the government purse. And we call this the gravy train, and the gravy train's got to stop. We've got to pull up the gravy train. Otherwise, it's just going to be nothing left for the individual Australian on the street, and that's why they create crises. And why you can't buy a house and you can't have a house. They don't want you to have a house. They want you to be a slave to them all your life. You'll be paying a house off all your life, or you just won't own anything. So you're a slave renting all your life. There's just so much happening out there, and if I got into the dark side of things, people just wouldn't believe it in the spirit world. And as I said, there's a lot happening out there. It's just lucky I'm pretty stable and I'm pretty focused, and I just go with the flow. I go with the flow. You come up and say who you are and who you resonate with and who your spirit is. I go with that until I find out otherwise that I deal with the facts, and I find out that you're not who you are. Well, I'll come crashing down on you. And I just don't like thieves. I don't like liars. I think, there's not a place for them in here. The pedophiles, I want to go after these pedophiles in high places. They're going to be squashed. They're going to be terminated. Murderers are going to be terminated. Rapists, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm with you guys. I'm totally with you guys. I know the way you think. I know the way your emotions. I know what hurts you. I know what makes you cry, so forth. People have come up to me over the years and told me such and such and such and such. Well, what are you telling me this for? What can I do about that? But now I know why I was told all this stuff in my younger years, in my youth, and being brought up on, in average people, I deal with the uni students. I've dealt with the people on the street. I've dealt with homeless. I just know what goes on. I just know what goes on. And I know how to fix things, right? So you vote for me, things are going to happen. And it's going to happen in a big way, trust me. This all comes from my heart and resonates from my spirit, my soul, because I'm an old soul. And plus being a Scorpio, dragon, you got the master numbers all lining up, the planets line up. It's all lining up for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And this is just a video that's just out there for you guys to listen to and get your thoughts together. And you got to get your thoughts together because there's a lot to take in. There's vast things to take in. A lot of things are being hidden. A lot of things they don't want you to know. It's just a lot of stuff's out there, eh? But I just want to just have an open mind. Keep an open mind and go with the flow. And usually everything's going to be okay. All right, so this is coming from a lot of the universe, the cosmic universe, our grand architect, which we call God, and all these religions believe in the one thing. So anyway, hope you listen to this and get your thoughts together. And there's a lot to take in. Some things you take in, some things you don't. Some doors you open, some doors you don't. You take a lot of paths, and life's just one big journey. It could be bad, it could be good, but the main thing, you got to remain resilient and take everything in and discard, as I said, just discard whatever's bad and whatever's good, keep. And just treasure life, just love life. Anyway, love and hugs to everyone. And I hope this video gets to whoever wants to listen to it. And love and hugs to everyone anyway. And I am a candidate for the Trumpet of Patriots, and I hope you just get your act together and start voting for the right guys, the good guys. Anyway, let's make everything great, and let's just say amen now and get the show on the road. All right, God bless. Amen.